Earlier this afternoon in Albuquerque, New Mexico, the amateurs took center stage on AAA MMA's promotion. 7 incredible bouts with gyms recognized throughout the state of New Mexico. Some big winners in our amateur show: John Rosima, Joel Whitney, Tuwa Pleasant, Carlos Casados, Maxwell Spiller, and Steven Cervantes. And at the end of the amateur bouts, Amanda Lovato and Malia Yee, both 105-pounders, put on a show for the crowd here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Jody, you're familiar with that weight class, and I'll tell you what, these two young ladies represented the sport.
You know what, Mike? It's always great to see a women's MMA fight on the card. They bring it no matter what. There's women coming up from all over, all weight classes. Super exciting, very entertaining. Awesome job, guys.
We're ready to start professional action here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, as Javier Palacios makes his way into the cage.
Let's take it up to Mike Adams for our official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready for our first professional bout of the afternoon. It's win to get into Bellator. Your judges at ringside: Chris Taves, Mark Sanchez, and Levi Martinez, is your referee. In charge of all the action, Robert Romero. And now introducing first out of the blue corner. He's wearing the black trunks with the red and white checkers, weighed in at 154.6 pounds. He's representing Gracie Baja and calls Las Cruces, New Mexico his own. Ladies and gentlemen, Steven Ortega. And now, introducing out of the red corner, he's wearing the black trunks with the red, white, and green trim. He weighed in 156 pounds, and he's representing Mean One in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, Javier Palacios. Robert Romero with instruction.
Protect yourself at all times. Obey me at all times for your partners to ready to fight.
It's a warm afternoon here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, as we get ready to start round number 1. This is scheduled for 3 rounds of 5 minutes per round. Robert Romero gives the final instruction, and there's the first bell. There's a lot of nerves as the winner gets into Bellator.
Not only that, they're both making their professional debut. That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal as you see them get off to a pretty quick start as they're trying to feel out each other a little bit before some serious action takes place.
We do know that Javier comes from a mean One, which they pride themselves in trying to round themselves out.
Well, you know, Mean One is a big gym here in Albuquerque, named after Keith Jardine, the dean of Mean. Chris Luttrell, one of the lead coaches out of Mean One, and there's been some great fighters out of that camp.
Absolutely. Also, Steven Ortega coming from a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and Jiu-Jitsu is such an important part of MMA, and we can see that he was fighting for that takedown in the beginning.
You see some big shots right there as a little boxing comes into play.
Absolutely. Beautiful sport of MMA is boxing, MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling. It's the whole package.
You know, it's interesting. Palacios from Albuquerque, Ortega from Las Cruces. There's that little rivalry between the Aggies and the Lobos in this great state of New Mexico, and now we get it inside the cage.
Absolutely.
Still a little bit of action going on here as they try to find a way to see who's going to get into Bellator.
We see big kicks from Javier. We kind of see him stalking down a little bit, packing those big punches.
You know, in that first round, is it more of a feel-out round from your experience?
Big head kick. Feeling out rounds in MMA is quite a story. Those little gloves are pretty unforgiving.
The little gloves she's talking about are 4 ounces for those of you just joining us and don't know much about the sport. 4-ounce gloves is what they wear, and it's all-out combat.
Steven's still fighting for that takedown, maybe hoping for a submission, or to stay away from those big punches Javier's throwing.
And, you know, with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background, you know, you learn a lot from the Gracie Bajas. I know you train here locally with Gracie Baja, and if he can get him to the ground, it could be a different story.
Absolutely. Big punches on the break.
Warm afternoon here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We're outside of the Via Hispania, and you can see the sun coming in right through the cage. Is that a little tough on the feet there, Jody?
Yes, of course. We got that sun shining.
Right here, you're seeing some good shots by Palacios, as Ortega's making it difficult for him to connect with any 1-2 punches.
Still fighting for that takedown. You know, they're both expelling a lot of energy here, the takedown defense and then trying to take down. Maybe just even that clinch up, you know, staying away from those hands.
Referee Robert Romero keeping a close eye on both these fighters as he breaks them up and puts them back into the center of the cage and asks them to fight.
You'll see Javier push forward and kind of stalk him down. We'll see if he continues that.
And Ortega tries to get off a left right there, trying to get that jab established, trying to make some room in between the two of them. And a big connection right there with an overhand right.
Big knee, big knee.
And Palacio follows that up with some good hooks as Ortega tries to take him to the floor. Palacios looks a little tired.
Absolutely. You know what? He's still fighting for that takedown, and I'm not sure that his game plan's working there. Big break here. Let's see who pushes forward first. Both starting to look a little tired.
Both in the center of the cage right now. It looks like there's a small cut on Ortega, maybe above the lip. And again, a little different fighting outdoors than indoors.
Big shots being thrown. Here we are, clinched up against the cage again.
Robert Romero, one of the top officials in the state of New Mexico, keeping a close eye. And those big knees take their toll.
Absolutely. Knees to the body. I would rather get punched in the face than punched in the body.
There's nothing like a punch in the face or a punch to the body.
If you have to choose, you know, that wind comes into play. 10 seconds left in the round.
10 seconds left in the round as they try to gain control of round number 1. Some big shots to close out round number 1 as they go to the corners and get instruction. And Jody, after the first round, we're going to go to Jody Escobel's unofficial scorecard. Who do you have winning that round?
You know what? I would have Javier winning that round. A close round. He threw the bigger shots. He came forward. He pressed the pace. He threw some big knees, landed some big shots, and defended the takedown.
And as we look at the highlights, you see the 2 big knees set in by Palacios. Now they go to the corners. And there you take a look at Steven Ortega. They're working on his cut. And there's Chris Luttrell, a well-recognized name in mixed martial arts. We get ready for round number 2 here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's AAA MMA, all brought to you by Orthris Promotions. Robert Romero checking both fighters, seeing if they're ready. And round number 2 begins. Jody, what can we expect?
I would like to see Javier push the pace a little bit, and I would like to see Ortega get his takedown.
You know, we had your unofficial scorecard in round number 1, and who did you have winning that, Jody?
I have Javier winning the round. I think he pushed the pace, landed the bigger shots, defended the takedown.
Ortega tries to come out a little stronger by getting him to the ground, but as you can see, Palacios making it difficult.
You know what? It's hard to take somebody down from that angle off of the cage. Javier's doing a good job of stopping that. He has that underhook on his left-hand side. Good break.
And Robert Romero breaks him once again as they want action here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Big left uppercut right there.
And the clinch up. So now Ortega has that right underhook. And now he's on the cage, which is a change of scenery.
Yeah, a little bit different. Palacio feels real comfortable in this position. As we saw in round 1, he can get off a couple of quick shots.
Big shots, big elbows on the break. I'm not sure if they landed cleanly or not. Big body shot.
More of a boxing match right now.
Absolutely. So who's going to throw the first punch right here? Javier takes the center of the cage. Ortega pushes forward on that one.
Yeah, and Ortega's trying to find his range as Palacios making it a difficult target to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. Those big punches with little gloves, man, those are scary things. Big knee.
And they're back on the cage, which has been a familiar spot for both of them.
Big knee to the body. Those take a toll.
Ortega in this position has landed some big knees. Palacios in round number 1 landed some big knees. That's been the biggest connection rate we've seen.
Those were some good punches off the break there from Ortega. I'd like to see a little bit more of that.
As you see the crowd behind us in Albuquerque, New Mexico, they're used to seeing great fights here, as some of the best fighters in the world train right here in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Absolutely. We're no stranger to fights here. Quality fighters, quality camps.
And 2 big camps right here in Las Cruces Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and Mean One, Chris Luttrell being the lead coach. You can hear instruction through the cage.
Good
break from the ref.
Robert Romero doing a great job this afternoon.
He don't want to fight. Nice.
Big right wheel kick to the head.
Push you into the fence and hide.
And you hear Chris Luttrell in the background giving him instruction. And I think both these guys know.
Jab.
In the middle of round number 2, Jody, they got to be thinking, I have about 7 minutes to punch my ticket into Bellator.
Absolutely. You start counting down the minutes, and if you're behind, you're hoping for more time, and if you're ahead, you're hoping for the end of the round. So time can be on your side or your enemy. Big punch on the break, missed.
You know, it seems like there's a lot of respect for each other here, Joe.
Absolutely. I think that they're both respecting each other's hands, knees. It doesn't seem like Javier wants to take it to the ground at all. Coming from some Gracie background, maybe he's concerned about that. You see him almost grab over the head, but now he switches.
Little warm outside, as we mentioned earlier. Do you think that's affecting the fighters right now?
I can't say that it's not. You know, it's warm out here. The sun's shining. It's nice to be out here, but I'm glad that I'm not in there right now.
Big right hand as connections are taking place with 1-2s from both fighters.
Yep, you see a little bit of blood coming from Javier's nose now. And now you got to wonder, is the tide changing a little bit with him pushing up on the cage? Yeah, he's not getting the takedown, but he's keeping him there. Still grabbing that left leg. Maybe fighting for that single leg. Good break.
Romero breaks him up once again as they go to the center of the cage with 30 seconds remaining in round number 1.
Nice inside leg kick. Nice kick again. He's pushing the pace at the end of the round. Big knee off the clinch. And now the roles are reversed. Javier's pushed up against the cage. Looking for big shots off of the clinch.
Round number 2 comes to an end. Ortega has to feel pretty good about that round as we go to the highlights, Jody.
I feel that even though Ortega's pushed up against the cage, he's still landing big shots. There's a big knee. Nice big overhand. That's right where Javier probably started bleeding with that bloody nose. I think he has a lot of success off of the clinch break, and he's throwing those big shots. I think that's great.
There's a good shot of MMA cutman Sergio Chavez. He's a cutman for Bellator, cutman to this afternoon for AAA MMA. He's trained some great boxers in Danny Romero Jr., and he's been the cutman for James Kirkland. He's been around. He calls Albuquerque his home, Joe.
Yeah, we are extremely lucky to have that man here in Albuquerque.
And we get ready for the final round, round number 3. And an interesting note, your judges at ringside are Chris Tez, Mark Sanchez, and Levi Martinez, just in case this gets to the scorecards. They got a lot to look at in round number 3, Jody.
Absolutely. This is a toe-to-toe fight. These guys are pushing the pace. Throwing big shots in the third. A little smile from Javier. Nice body kick.
You know, in round number 2, we go to your unofficial scorecard. Who'd you have winning round number 2?
And I think I would have Ortega maybe taking the round, a close round. Javier was backed up on the cage a lot. Big shots off the break, so I'd have it 1-1 right now.
So there's a lot on the line in round number 3 as they try to get into Bellator and punch their ticket into an opportunity to fight for one of the biggest organizations.
Needs to push that head down or get that underhook. There he goes. Good underhook. Good break.
They go back to the center, and Palacios takes a deep breath right there, Jody.
You know what? It's the 3rd round. It's a first pro fight. I have a lot of respect for these guys, but I know I've been there in the 3rd round taking those big, deep breaths.
In the first professional fight, is it more nerves or you're hoping your conditioning holds up?
Both. Absolutely both. Big knee going to the body. Those body shots are not helping wind. Big uppercut misses. Tries to follow up.
Ortega bleeding once again from the nose.
Ortega pushed forward on that combination, but now he's probably going to get stuck in that same position that he's been in. Both guys throwing punches off the clinch, so we'll see.
We've seen this throughout the entire 3 rounds. And there's a big shot right there by Ortega.
You have to think being pushed up against the cage sometimes looks bad, even though Javier's doing a fine time. He's actually working to try to get some stuff here. But Ortega is pushing forward, still fighting for that takedown.
Good crowd this afternoon in Villa Hispania here on the Expo New Mexico State Fairgrounds, Orthrus Promotions. It's AAA MMA, and they're trying to get their ticket punched into Bellator as we close in on the final 223 of round number 3.
It's a beautiful day today. Great fights, great card. Looks like it's a sold-out crowd.
You know, Robert Romero keeping a close eye as he's broken up both fighters 3 or 4 times this afternoon as he's looking for action.
Big knee. It's kind of reaching around the head. He's going to want to come down and get those underhooks in. Circle off the cage. Big knee here maybe. I'd like to see Javier get his back off the cage.
Both coaches yelling instruction.
Big knee. That was a big right hand by Ortega. Now he shoots down underneath for that leg again.
You know, an interesting note, Jody, throughout the afternoon, Ortega has not been able to get Palacios to the ground.
Absolutely. And you know what? I would have liked to see some jiu-jitsu. He's going to have to fight from a different angle to get that takedown.
The crowd's getting involved in Albuquerque, New Mexico, as there's 1:15 left in round number 3. These fighters have to know they're 1 minute away from possibly fighting in Bellator.
Both guys are tired after that exchange. A little bit of a slip there. Big right hand by Javier. We're under a minute here. See who can push forward, finish the round.
Both fighters kind of starting off the way it's ending. Couple of punches and back up against the cage.
Big knee. I think that one might have been blocked.
He doesn't want to fight anymore. Turn around and hit it. Get him off the fence. Come on, put his back on the fence. He's going to hide.
Good work, gentlemen.
You hear Chris Luttrell with instruction. Luttrell has coached some of the greatest fighters in mixed martial arts. Coach at Mean One, also coaches at Jackson's and Winklejohn's.
Absolutely. Chris Luttrell is one of the guys that's been here since the very beginning.
5 seconds left and a big right.
Shot. Big knee.
And the 3rd round comes to a close. We're going to go to the official scorecards here, and the referees have a lot to look at, but let's get to the highlights, Jody.
throwing big shots with a big backing up off the cage. Nice front kick coming in. That was a big right hand there that landed.
And you can see both fighters a little exhausted as the corners check them.
Good sign of respect there for each other. They both fought their heart out. Went all the way. Take it up to Mike Adams.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of great mixed martial arts action, big round of applause for both of these gentlemen. Judge Chris Diaz, Mark Sanchez, and Levi Martinez all scored about the exact same way, 30-27, for your winner by unanimous decision, Javier Palacios.
We're ready for our second bout of the afternoon in the professional ranks as Eric White makes his way inside the cage from Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's going to be taking on Richard Hawkes from Las Cruces, New Mexico. It's a big matchup.
Absolutely. Both of these guys are making their pro debuts. Again, huge pressure. Let's take it up to Mike for the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready for our next bout of the afternoon. Win to get into Bellator. This bout will be 3 rounds, 5 minutes per round. Your judges at ringside, Mark Sanchez, Chris Tez, and Levi Martinez. And your referee in charge of all the action, Richard Espinosa. And now introducing first out of the blue corner. He's wearing the yellow trunks with the black trim, weighed in 148 pounds. He trains at Gracie Baja and calls Las Cruces, New Mexico his own. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Hawkes. And now, introducing out of the red corner. He's wearing the black trunks with the white and orange trim, weighed in 145.3 pounds. He's representing Albuquerque Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Eric White. Richard Espinosa with instruction.
All right, guys, gave instruction in the dressing room. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Go ahead and touch up.
Richard Espinosa gives the instruction. We're ready to begin our second bout of the afternoon, and both these fighters have a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background.
Are we going to see a Jiu-Jitsu match here? First fight, we didn't get to see any ground. Maybe in this one it'll be a different story.
A lot of respect from both fighters as they come out and shake hands.
Eric White, the lefty, which is fun to see.
Comes in as the southpaw. Hawkes with a big kick, and quick at that.
Another big leg kick. Got the takedown here.
Eric White with control.
Rich was looking for that, needs to look for that underhook, or White's going to look to pass his guard here. Always dangerous to be on the bottom watching for that ground and pound.
Both these fighters very quick. Great defense on both sides.
Absolutely. You see that right knee underneath there is kind of holding White back. Good sweep. Awesome.
And Richard Hawkes' leg being held right now by Eric White as he tries to punch his way through this hold.
Hawkes can spin out. You can hear his corner telling him to spin. Spin to the left. If he completely spins all the way around, he'll be out of that. He's got some rubbery ankles there.
And some big left hands connecting on Eric White, who's not letting go.
There, Richard goes rolling through. He can keep rolling here and relieve the pressure.
Adjust slightly towards his butt.
That right leg can push off of him, almost kind of pushing towards his butt and kicking himself out to get out.
Hawkins comes back with a couple shots to the face.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he really has that right angle in there.
Referee Richard Espinosa keeping a close eye.
Eric, look to mount. That's it, turn it. No, turn it, Eric.
He's trying to turn it, Jode, right there. He's trying to get him to submit.
There he goes. He's rolling through. He can keep rolling, keep rolling. It'll keep the pressure off the joint.
Hawkins seems real calm.
Yeah, that's exactly you can't panic here in these situations. Even if it's not pressure, you kind of sometimes get wary of being caught somewhere. Somebody's holding onto your leg.
Big shots there to the stomach area. But Eric White just holding on here, Jody.
Yeah, you know what? You gotta kind of think about how much energy White is expelling here. As you can see, he's taking big breaths here.
And you know what? I think there was a low blow there. Hawkins tries to shake his hand, and White still doesn't let go.
At this point, I think White's just kind of expelling energy and getting punched in the face at the same time.
Hawkins from Las Cruces, New Mexico. And they've been in this position now for a good minute and a half. Hawkins trying to find a way to get out, Jody.
Yeah. He's very patient, very patient. He's still landing big shots there on the top. But he can't seem to get out, so are we looking for offensive or defensive here? That's a question. He's got to keep rolling here. You can hear his corner telling him to roll.
When you look at that camera angle, you can see the ankle being twisted pretty significantly.
Seems like they're just kind of stuck here in this position. White doesn't want to give up the ankle. Richard seems really comfortable here.
Eric, 25 seconds.
45 seconds left in round number 1, scheduled for 3 here in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Eric, I want your belly to meet. Yes.
You can hear the instruction for Eric White as Hawkins almost gets out right there.
Almost.
Transition faster.
Eric's corner is even asking for a transition here. They spent a good portion of the round in this position.
Tuck your head. That's it. Adjust the grip. Finish, yes.
Richard's still staying super strong, rolling through.
Turn it, Eric.
As we come into the last 10 seconds of round number 1. Tough bout to score. This is a tough one for the judges in round number 1.
Absolutely. Do you score the attempt or do you score the defense? I don't know.
Round number 1 comes to a halt. We're going to go to the highlights. And Jody, take us through them.
I think this is where he's still landing big shots on top. White's still cranking that ankle. Richard seems super calm, rolling out.
And you see Richard Hawkins there. Doesn't seem to be breathing hard. Seems real calm and patient as we spoke about. Eric White seems like he exerted some energy holding on to that ankle.
Exactly. Holding on to something, clinching down, not getting that good oxygen flow to your muscles.
Round number 2 begins as Richard Espinosa asks if they're both ready to go. They touch gloves and they're ready to start round number 2.
We saw some aggressive kicks from Richard in the first round before it ended up on the ground. We'll see who pushes forward here.
Hawkins moving well on that ankle. It was held for almost 4.5 minutes in round number 1, but it doesn't look to affect him in round number 2.
Big inside kick from the lefty.
Control the center. Watch his hands. He's going to throw as you press. That's it.
And Hawkins showing a little boxing skill there with a little defense. Keeping
little head movement. Yeah. Guard up. Taking the center of the cage here. Kind of filling it out still.
He's faking for hands. He's going to let you throw low.
Another inside kick there by Eric White.
Those leg kicks take a toll on your body. Your movement changes, your thighs hurt. They add up.
Hands are low. Hands up.
We're in Albuquerque, New Mexico this afternoon, Via Hispania in Expo, New Mexico. This is home of the New Mexico State Fairgrounds.
It's a beautiful day today. Sun shining, big crowd.
Press it now.
Nice jab.
Hit it now. Hit it.
Try at the spinning back fist.
Do not fake.
If that spinning back fist connects, it could be lights out.
Absolutely.
It's a sunny day, but it could still be lights out.
That's it now.
Both kind of feeling out here, setting up that range.
Go. Hit. Drive.
Richard has long legs.
Get it down now.
White pushing up against the cage.
Work this. We have this.
He got the takedown in the first round.
Take your time. Get your underhook and turn. Get your turn, Eric. Turn. Don't let him move behind.
Richard Hawkins against the cage is Eric
Turn
White
and press, Eric.
trying to gain control here, Jody.
Drive. Turn and press, Eric. There you
Yeah, it
go.
looks like
There
both
you go.
guys
There you
are
go.
really working here.
Breathe. Yep. Catch his
Big knee by Hawkins. Double knee right there. He
White's
go-
really fighting for that takedown here. That takes a lot of energy. Big knee, big turnaround.
Turn him off the cage now.
Now he's on the cage.
White looking a little bit like he's tired.
Turn him, Eric.
And Hawkins still looking like he's breathing fine.
Those big knees take it out of you. Those body shots are huge.
Get your knee in. Drive. That's it.
Trying to gain
Drive,
position
Eric.
here is both these Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background fighters trying to get to the floor.
Hit the back. Do not go guard. Stay on the back. Stay on the
White's
back.
in a good position here. He has his back.
Eric, move around.
He just needs to get him away from the cage a little bit.
We've got the back. Work it, Eric. Work it.
Almost giving up that good position.
Tries
Picks
for a
up the
single
single
leg.
leg. Yeah. Drives him back into the cage. Maybe it would have been more effective if he would have taken him to the center of the cage. And here they go to the center of the cage. Both guys look a little tired.
Hands up.
Yeah, and Hawkins looks like he might be the more well-conditioned athlete in this fight.
Absolutely. There is a big age difference here. Also,
Eric White, 42 years old, showing that the 40's the new 30 with a minute 30
absolutely.
left in round number 2.
Kind of a rush in there. Not sure if it was a takedown of defense or just trying to close the gap. Getting out of that long reach.
Pull the head to the back. Eric, I want the back. I want his
Needs to get that underhook so he doesn't take the back. White needs to really reach that right hand underneath and pick him up here. They're fighting for head position, as you can see.
Turn it now.
Shoots down for that single leg again. See if he can pull him off the cage
Drive.
to bring him down.
Eric White looks in pain. I don't know if he caught a shot that we didn't see, Jody, but he looks like he's experiencing some pain right now
Eric, I need reversal retreat. Elevate.
as he holds on to Hawkins'.
Yeah, Hawkins just needed to pop his head out there. And now that he's on top, he's in a good position. You got to watch out for that ground and pound here at this point. White needs to move, better his position.
Get in there. Eric.
Hawkins throws a big left hand as we wind down round number 2.
You want to get that posture up, and that's why he's kind of bringing him down a little bit still so you can land those big shots.
A couple of big shots there as we got 5 seconds left in round number 2.
Big elbows here landing. Wow.
Round number 2 comes to a close, but Hawkins with some big shots there at the end as Eric White looks to be exhausted. Let's go to the highlights, Jody.
A lot of kicks in the beginning, still kind of feeling each other out, and then we land those big body shots. He jockeyed for good top position here, landing those huge elbows. Big elbows.
And Richard Espinosa waves his hand as this fight is called to an end. Looks like Eric White couldn't continue as he does not respond to round number 3, and your winner is Richard Hawkins. Richard Espinosa calls a halt to the bout, Jody. So as we noticed in round number 2, looked like something happened to Eric White.
Yeah, maybe it was one of those big knees that took it out. Big shots at the end.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's take it back up to Mike.
Round number 2, Eric White decides not to continue. He's in it to win it with Bellator from Gracie, Baja, Las Cruces, Richard Hawkins.
Richard Hawkins is your winner. About number 2 as he makes his way into Bellator. The action continues here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, with a big matchup in our next professional bout. A lot of people have been talking about this gentleman, Steven Garcia, as he makes his way into the cage.
Absolutely. Let's take it up to Mike for the official announcement.
We're ready for the next bout of the afternoon. 3 rounds, 5 minutes per round. If you win, you get into Bellator. Your judges at ringside, Chris Tibbs, Mark Sanchez, and Levi Martinez. And your referee in charge of all the action, Robert Romero. Introducing first, out of the blue corner, he's wearing the black trunks with the white and red shirt, weighed in 134.8 pounds. He represents Gracie, Baja, in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Lerma. And now, introducing out of the red corner, wearing the black, gray, and red trunks. He weighed in 134.4 pounds. He represents Mean One and calls Albuquerque, New Mexico his own. Ladies and gentlemen, Steven the Mean Machine Garcia.
As Robert Romero gives instruction. A lot of people have been talking about Steven Garcia for quite some time. He trains at Mean One. Alan Lerma came up with Richard Hawkins and Steven Ortega out of that Las Cruces Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But the talk of the town, Jody, is Steven Garcia.
This guy is young. He's super composed. He's 20 years old. It's his second fight, but it'll look like he's been fighting for a long time.
The crowd had an enormous applause as he made his way to the cage.
He might have got caught with his hands down a little bit on the end of that kick. You'll also take note of his boxing. This guy works with Danny Romero. He puts in the time just to work on strictly his boxing.
The former world champ, Danny Romero Jr., training Steven Garcia on the boxing side of things. Training out of Mean One in Albuquerque is Steven Garcia. And you can tell he has some boxing skill.
Absolutely. It's cool to see that stuff come out in MMA a little bit. You know, establishing that jab there really gets your range going. Are you going to be able to defend the takedown from there? You know where your kicks are going to land. That jab's super important. You can see him popping it out there.
You know, throughout the mixed martial arts circles here in New Mexico, his name keeps popping up as a guy to keep your eye on. We know of all the great talent that comes out of Albuquerque. Have you seen him, Jody, where you feel he's going to be that caliber of fighter?
Absolutely, no question about it. This guy puts in the hard work. His family's super supportive. It's exciting to see him grow up and take those next steps to come to the next level here.
You saw that big kick just applied.
Lima's super game here. You can see that level change. You know, that jab still kind of keeping him at bay, but he's missing a lot of those shots too. That level change threatens the takedown here.
And Alan Lerma in a big fight right now, as I'm sure he's heard all the hype on Steven Garcia, where he's come in and he's ready to get after it, Joe.
Absolutely. You hear a lot about your opponent, and you just have to go in there, and they're human just like you. So I like to see Lerman maybe push the pace a little bit, get underneath him. I know he's a shorter fighter here. You got to get past that range. Big knee to the head, drops down, covers up. He's still protecting, still throwing shots.
And Garcia showing you kicks, punches, keeping him off balance.
Good head movement on the outside. Steve stays super composed even though he landed big shots.
And very patient.
Extremely patient. A lot of guys would have got overly excited there, dropping an opponent down, but Lerma's still extremely dangerous, and you see those hands up, level change still.
We're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's the co-main event, Garcia Lerma. It's win to get in. The winner punches their ticket into Bellator.
Nice body shot, nice jab.
And you know, as they made their way to the cage, Jody, Garcia got an enormous round of applause. You can tell this community supports their fighters, and this one in particular on this particular day.
Absolutely. Like I said, he has a great supportive family. He's got a good team behind him at Mean One. Nice level change.
Big kick right there.
Lerma's still super game. He still has that low level, which threatens the takedown to me. Especially being a littler fighter, I can relate to that level change there. Just having to commit. Big body shot. Big left.
And Lerma's bleeding from the nose and from the mouth as that left hook to the body, left hook to the face really connected.
Steve's still saying super composed here.
And you hear the coaches saying, keep them standing, let's not go to the ground.
Yeah, you know what? Lerma does have that wrestler stance, and that's what I was saying about his level change. He really threatens that big leg kick there.
We're at Expo, New Mexico, via Hispania, AAA, MMA. It's win to get in.
Lerma with a big left there. Maybe just closing the gap a little bit more on that length will get him in a little bit closer. Steve still pawing away at that jab. Staying composed, walking him down.
You know, and at 20 years old to have coaches like Chris Luttrell, Keith Jardine, Danny Romero Jr., those are huge names.
Absolutely. You see that head movement. It's all just boxing there.
35 seconds left in round number 1. We're scheduled for 3. And Steven Garcia is controlled at round number 1 as you see a spinning back fist connect.
Big flurry. Lerma still tries to land that knee. Steve still stalking him down, getting that range with his jab. Flying knee.
Flying knee right there.
1-2. Straight down the middle.
And 5 seconds left in round number 1.
Oh, that came off of a slip, but I don't...
The bell rings. Robert Romero separates both fighters, and Garcia with a dominant round 1. If we go to Jody Escobel's scorecard, let's get to the highlights first, Jody.
Absolutely. Steve really just kind of stalking him down. Good knee lands there. Big kicks. He really knows how to use his length.
We go to the corner there as you see Chris Luttrell giving him instruction. Who do you have on the unofficial Jody Escobel scorecard?
I see Steve taking that round extremely dominant. You know, Lima has to come out and maybe push forward, close that gap a little bit.
Chris Tejas, Mark Sanchez, and Levi Martinez are our 3 judges at ringside for this bout. In case it does go 3, we're getting ready to start round number 2 here at Expo, New Mexico. Robert Romero checks with both fighters, and we're ready for round number 2 as Garcia has to feel good after round 1.
Absolutely. After a round like that, you kind of feel like you're in your groove here. Don't count anybody out. Lerma is still super game here with that low stance. I mean, he gets popped right there with a big jab.
And you can just see in Garcia's eyes that he has a feeling something's going to happen pretty quickly.
What's cool to see is him have that feeling and still stay composed.
Gets his distance right here. Really trying to size up Lerma.
Lerma can't seem to get past that jab. Spinning back kick. Steve with some boxing footwork there.
Steve well conditioned, Lerma well conditioned.
Yeah, these guys are throwing. Lerma throws some leather right there. Steve still got to be careful. Lerma the lefty here.
Both guys in the southpaw stance right here. A nice jab right there by Steve Garcia.
Lerma's got to push forward here. Steve's just kind of picking him apart with that length. Maybe commit to that shot, maybe fake and feint. Drop that level again like he was in the first.
Nice kick right there. And you know the jab is so crucial, Joe. You keep the jab, you keep them off balance, and then hopefully you connect with something that's going to be powerful.
Lerma just can't seem to get his groove. Big knee there.
Huge knee right there takes Lerma to the ground, and Steven Garcia taking control of this fight. And Robert Romero steps in and calls a halt to this bout, as Steven Garcia is your winner, and he punches his ticket into Bellator. Exciting, Joe.
Absolutely. This guy works hard.
Take us to the highlights.
Lerma, he covers up here. He's still trying to protect himself, but those shots are coming down. Big, long punches here, big knee, and I think that's the knee that he went down off of.
Steven Garcia is your winner.
Let's go to Mike.
52 of round number 2. Referee Robert Romero calls a halt to this bout. Your winner by TKO and the newest member to Bellator, representing Mean One, Steven Mean Machine Garcia.
Promoter J.R. Rodriguez puts the medal around Steve Garcia's neck. That's his ticket into Bellator. Second round TKO as we get ready for the main event of the afternoon here in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Awesome fight so far. Super excited about this. Let's take it up to Mike for the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event of the afternoon. We're here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, via Hispana at the New Mexico State Fairgrounds. And this particular bout, if you win, you're in with a contract to Bellator. Your judges for the main event will be Chris Taves, Mark Sanchez, and Levi Martinez. Your referee in charge of all the action is Richard Espinosa. And now introducing first, out of the blue corner. His record is 5 wins with 4 losses, and he represents Lovato's Total Fitness, Pettis Fighting Systems. He's wearing the black trunks with the gray trim, and he calls Albuquerque, New Mexico his own. And ladies and gentlemen, Ronnie White. And now, introducing out of the red corner. He's wearing the red trunks with the yellow trim, and he weighed in at 134.2 pounds. His professional record, 4 wins and only 1 loss. He reps Mean One and calls Albuquerque, New Mexico his own. Ladies and gentlemen, Felipe Chavez. Richard Espinosa with instruction.
All right, guys, give you instruction, you dress me. Protect yourself at all times, obey my commands all the time. Go ahead and touch up for it.
We're ready for the main event of the afternoon. The much anticipated Felipe Flip Chavez taking on Ronnie White. Jody, excitement we can expect.
Absolutely. Both of these guys are from Albuquerque. You can hear the crowd here is really alive.
Flip training out of Mean One. Ronnie White from Lovato Total Fitness and Pettis Fighting Systems. And Flip is exciting. 4-1 record. We've seen him in the cage before.
He has a very exciting style. He really pushes forward.
And Ronnie White takes him to the ground as Flip gains control.
There's a place where you buck and roll around a little while until you establish your control, which I think Felipe just did. He has almost a technical mount there. Both of those knees, White's trying to keep up right, trying to keep him off. Almost getting up, guillotine, looking for the guillotine.
Almost has that guillotine locked in, Joey, as you see Felipe going off a lot of adrenaline right now, saying something to the referee.
White's really trying to pop that head out there. He needs to turn that chin in, pop the head over.
Felipe making some adjustments to really try to lock that in.
Felipe can go up top to that triangle, and he does. So really securing that shin down, grabbing it. He's going to try to pull that arm over across and then bring his head down into him. White's trying to roll out here. Felipe's long legs. Rolling into it. Felipe is still trying to secure that head down. You can see him trying to pull it in. Pull that shin down a little bit tighter. It's really sinking in now. White needs to frame out with that left elbow and create space to where he can breathe.
He has a hold of the leg right now as well.
You see a tap.
Ronnie White taps out, and Richard Espinosa right there to pull Felipe Chavez off. And your winner of the main event of the afternoon from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Flip Chavez. Take us to the highlights, Joe.
Both of them were throwing really big leather in the beginning. Felipe landing a knee but getting taken down. Quickly establishing top control here, and then eventually getting the submission win.
Big win for Felipe Flip Chavez as he moves his record to 5-1 and punches his ticket into Bellator. And you see a good shot of Felipe right there. Happy to fight in his own backyard, Albuquerque, New Mexico. As you see the fans there, very, very excited for that big victory.
Very supportive, very exciting. It's fun to see a hometown guy put in the work and get a win. You know, White really came and brought it today, and he's a super tough competitor.
Good fight here in the main event, Albuquerque, New Mexico. You see Chris Luttrell.
Chris Avila there is a good wrestling coach that they have out there at Mean One.
And Felipe, we'll be seeing him in Bellator as he just punches his ticket into one of the biggest mixed martial arts organizations in the entire country.
Absolutely. Let's take it up to Mike for the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, 11:56 of round number 1. Your winner by way of triangle submission, and the newest member to Bellator from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Felipe Chavez. We have Zach Light and Ian Matthews from Bellator. We have Jared Rodriguez and Sal Mora. Flip, you've been doing this for a long time. Now you get that ticket into Bellator. How does it feel today?
It was amazing. It was amazing. You know, kind of a rough camp because I got an injury, tore my toe off. But you know, my coaches were behind me, and my family was behind me, and just felt blessed.
There's a lot of emotion going into this fight between you and Ronnie White, and it all got settled tonight. Did you expect that quick of a decision or submission?
Well, you know, at Mean One, we always prepare for, 3 rounds, as long as the fight's going to be, but that's what I was hoping for.
You got long lineage and a big family when it comes to mixed martial arts. You're part of that big stage right now when you get to Bellator. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Viva los Chavez!
Felipe, congratulations, brother. I'm so proud of you. Ronnie, great fight, man. You put on a great fight. Congratulations. Big round of applause for both of them, guys. And I just got one more thing to say before we let you guys go. Zach Light from Bellator's got one thing to say to Felipe.
Felipe Chavez, welcome to Bellator.
Felipe Jose Chavez, this is AAA MMA, baby!
As that concludes all of today's action, we were live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Jody Escobar, I'll see you in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
I will see you there. I'm super excited.
Stay tuned for more from AAA MMA, brought to you by Orthros Promotions.